Welcome to Survival Theory. I'm just messing around in the woods today. It's rainy, it's pretty cool, as in cold, but it is what it is. I figured today would be a good day to talk about bug out bags. The do's and don'ts, the tips and tricks, the what to have, what not to have. So let's get busy on that. Alright, so I had to watch a lot of videos on bug out bags, way more than I wanted to get an idea of what was out there, so I could get all this material together. I took some notes here, although they're soggy, I can still read it, so let's go over bug out bag basics. What determines what goes in the bag? That's going to be time and target. Time is how long you plan to use that bag before either you reach your destination or return to your location again. Whether it's 12 hours, 24 hours, 3 days, you know, the old 72-hour trick, or maybe it's a week. So time is an important consideration of what to put in your bag. Also, your target. Is your target a bug out location? If so, you might be able to pack lighter, move faster. Or is your destination unknown? Are you going to be a refugee? Are you going to be homeless until enough time passes where you can return home or to your bug in location, or even if you had to bug out from your bug out location? You know, what is the target? So you got time and target. And a few notes on time. I see a lot of people expecting the best. So if you're using your bug out bag and you're having to go on foot and all you have is that bag, why would you assume that everything's going to go smooth, everything's going to be perfect, and the minimal gear you put in there is all you will need? So that's something to think about, because that planned 12-hour hike to your bug out location could turn into 3 days, it could turn into a week. If you're just going out to the woods, well, it's a wild card. You should have a lot of gear because you're going into the unknown. Basically, it's about being prepared. I'm not sure why some people plan their bug out bag as if everything's going to go smooth. Things aren't smooth if you're grabbing that bag to begin with. Alright, so we talked about time a little bit. And let's talk about that target a little bit more. Get to your bug out location. That's a good use for a bug out bag, is to get you from your house to your bug out location. Or maybe from your bug out location to the next location. In that case, you have a plan, but you need to remember things can go wrong. Now, escape and evasion is another purpose of the bug out bag. If I need to leave my bug in location, but I think I'll only need to be gone a couple days till things quiet down, or maybe a week, that's another time the bug out bag would be used. And again, then I'm becoming homeless or a refugee, maybe living out in the woods, staying low until I can return. Bug out bag assumes you're going to be walking. If you've got a vehicle, you're going to have your bug out bag. You should have a get home bag inside your vehicle. And you're going to be able to load up your vehicle with all kinds of gear. All kinds of supplies, all kinds of food and water and shelter. But you always need that bug out bag or that get home bag, because if you don't have your vehicle anymore, you're probably going to be on foot. And you're only going to be able to carry what's in that bag. So have your bag packed separate from everything else, because you need to be able to grab that bag and go. That's why a lot of people call it a go bag. You just grab it and go. It has all your basics in there for however long a time you think you'll need it. Now, in my opinion, you only need 3 things in your bug out bag. Now I said need. You need something to carry drinkable water, because you need drinkable water. You need something to keep you warm and dry, to protect you from the weather. And you need a source of light. Those are the 3 things you need. Everything else is optional. There's a lot of other important items, obviously, but those are going to be your primary concerns. Is water, a way to protect yourself from the weather, keep yourself warm and dry, and a source of light, because when it gets dark, that's it. You're not going to be able to fumble around, make your way anywhere. You've got to have a source of light. So when you take into consideration those 3 needs that you have, water, stay warm and dry, and a light source, you can expand from there to start building your go kit. Let's take, what was the first one, water? Well, what do you need for water? You need a way to carry it, a way to purify it. Start expanding from there. That means you need fire, possibly to boil water. What do you need for a fire? You need a lighter, a ferro rod, maybe bring some tinder. How do you purify that water? You're going to need something stainless steel to boil it in. Maybe another container to carry some in that's already been cleaned. So there's an expansion of water that covers container, combustion. What about warm and dry? Well, that includes a fire that might keep you warm, dry out some wet clothes. That would include a sleep system, especially in winter time. I've got a poncho here that can provide me shelter, as well as I can put it over me while I'm hiking. Got a tarp to set up a tent. You know, whatever you need to stay warm and dry. And you just kind of expand on that to see what you need to accomplish that. And the third, lighting. You've got to have a source of light. So, chem sticks. A lot of people carry the chem sticks. That's a source of light. You know, that light can be used for signaling, finding your way, seeing who's coming down the road, whatever. So you've got flashlights. So now you get into batteries, rechargeable batteries or extra batteries. A headlamp, so you can go hands-free. So you're expanding on these to decide what to put in your bag and how much you need to carry, based on the time and target. So let's talk about some ways to lighten up that bug out bag. Alright, so yesterday we were talking about bug out bags, and I couldn't keep the fire going and boil some water for tea and film at the same time, so I stopped filming. But we're back again today, and we were going to go over bug out bags and how to make them lighter. Now, some of these may seem ridiculous, but they're out there. I've seen them. Number 1, eliminate package. Less bags and boxes. Now I say that because I've seen some videos, and maybe they were just starting out, but everything was still in its package. Nothing had been taken out of the package, nothing had been used, tried, experimented with. Packaging, get rid of it. Number 2, fire kits with gadgets and extras. Now whatever you're familiar with to get a fire going, that's what you should definitely have in your bag. Something you might want to consider are these fire starting gadgets that maybe they weigh a lot, or they're encased in a lot of metal, which adds to the weight and the bulk. And a lot of them are just gadgets that quite frankly can fail, and they may not be as dependable as even a lighter or ferro rod. So number 3, heavy knives, sheaths, and too many knives. And that would go for axes, hatchets, things like that. I've seen some bags that had 5 fixed blade knives. So you may want to consider a lighter knife that can be just as durable and dependable. And consider the intended uses of that knife. Are you going out there to build a log cabin? Probably not. You may not need a hatchet, an axe, things like that. But in most circumstances, you know, a small handsaw and maybe a backup folder or a smaller fixed blade in addition to your main fixed blade is probably enough. That was 3 and 4. Number 5, excessive cook kits. How much of a cook kit do you need for a bug out bag? You know, a steel cup and a steel bottle is probably sufficient for most of your needs. But pots, pans, you know, the 10-piece cooking kit, some of those may not be needed. They add extra weight and bulk. So consider that. Number 6, smaller tarp, lightweight tarp, no tent. Tarps can be very heavy, especially the real cool ones, you know, that you see in a lot of the survival videos, but some of them are quite heavy. So consider getting a lightweight tarp, like a Sil Nylon, something like that. Maybe a smaller tarp. And unless it's an ultra lightweight tent, tents are usually pretty heavy, considering the poles, the stakes, you know, the fly, all that stuff. So consider your shelter as a primary way you can reduce weight. Number 7, freeze-dried foods are a plus. No canned foods, watery foods. That water adds weight, so when you have canned foods, I mean, those are obviously going to be heavier. Even some of those bars are quite heavy. So consider how you could reduce the weight in food and still get the protein and calories out of it. Number 8, hot weather shelter versus cold weather. In colder weather, you're going to be carrying more weight for sleeping arrangements for shelter because you've got to stay warm. And if it's hot weather, what do you need? What, a blanket, a tarp, if it's raining? You just don't need much in hot weather as far as sleeping arrangements. Sometimes the main priority is just keeping the bugs off of you. Number 9, first aid. Excessive first aid kits, large first aid kits, even smaller first aid kits with, you know, 100 Band-Aids, things like that. Now number 10 is skills and knowledge. Skills and knowledge is going to enable you to pack a lighter bag. You're going to have more experience with your tools. You're going to have more skills. You can adapt to different situations better. I see a lot of videos from experienced survivalists and bushcrafters, and they have the skills where they can pack a 12, 15-pound bug out bag and be just fine for days. So to lighten up your bag, get some skills and knowledge. Number 11, more than one use. Briefly talked about that for a second. Carry tools that have more than one use, and that'll lighten your load. Alright, so, heavier. What makes you a heavier pack? A heavier pack can mean more food and more water options. That's a good thing. Number 2, durable and tough gear. A lot of gear that is heavy. It might also be more durable, able to withstand the elements longer, be longer lasting. Number 3, a larger shelter. That means more space, more options, especially if you have more than one person. Number 4, cold weather clothes, and sleeping system. We kind of talked about that earlier, but a heavier pack can benefit you if that heaviness is due to more clothing options, especially if it's warmer during the day and the temperature drops dramatically at night. You know, a sleeping bag that's able to withstand colder temperatures. Number 5, helping others and carrying extra. If you're carrying things for your children, carrying something for your wife, you're helping someone else out that you met, you may want to carry some of their gear if they're not able to. Number 6, weapons and ammo. Number 7, tactical gear. Now I see a lot of videos where they are just loaded out to the max with tactical gear. And their bag probably weighs 60 pounds without food or water. And again, that's fine if you feel you need that, but how much tactical gear are you really going to need? And last but not least, some of the things I've seen in videos that, well, I hesitate to say they're wrong, but I think they should reconsider. Smoke grenades. It sounds really cool, and I've actually thrown a smoke grenade in my bug out bag before, but is that really necessary? Is it going to do any good? Just something to think about. A tactical rope dispenser. Yeah, it's a thing you put on your belt and it tactically dispenses the rope for you. I don't know, is that really necessary? It might be, I don't know. 2-pound ferro rods. Now this is kind of a funny one to me. A box of can openers. It was a heavy, large, bulky wooden box filled with can openers. Just bring 1 or 2. They were the little tiny ones. Everything's still in box or package. I talked about that earlier. That I have seen videos where almost everything in their bag was still in the container that it came with from the store. Still in the packaging, still in the box. Get rid of that packaging. Open that stuff up and use it. And that's probably the most important thing, is using your gear so that you're familiar with it, you know it works, etc. Well, to wrap it up, there is no right or wrong on a bug out bag, whether it's heavy bag, a light bag, loaded with gear, minimal gear, tactical bag, you know, a gray man bag. The important thing is time and target, and can you make it there? Are those bag items going to help you? Or are you carrying too much weight? You have a lot of useless junk in there. So be sure and leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Put some of your general ideas out there about bug out bags that I may have left out. And thanks for watching Survival Theory. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. A tool with more than one use is a tool with more than one use.